Now 7 parks in 7 days, and all of them are nice. The favorite one for many folks? The canyon known as Bryce. Today we'll see why. Welcome back to my travel window, where we help you see as much as you can while you still can. In the last 2 episodes, we toured Zion National Park, the first stop on our journey to see 7 parks in 7 days. 6 of these are national parks. The 7th is on the Navajo Nation site, and undoubtedly would be a national park if it were not. So it's deserving of being in that same category. Stay to the end and see what the arrow indicates in this Bryce picture. This is admittedly a rigorous trip. It involves averaging about 160 miles a day in addition to viewing a new park at each stop. This prohibits long hikes or deep exploration, but it's meant to show you how close these parks are to one another. You can use this trip as a base for a longer journey or divide the route into parts. The easiest division would be to break it into east and west components, with 3 parts in the east, 3 in the west, and 1 that could be added to either. If you plan extra time, I would plan on hiking adventures in Zion, Bryce, or Arches. Today, we're going to take you from Zion to Bryce Canyon. We're going to go through Cedar City, which allows us to easily pick up 2 smaller sites along the way. As you can see, this portion of the trip is 160 miles. RV Trip Wizard has a feature that shows the elevation change along a route. You'll immediately notice that the trip from Zion's south entrance to Cedar City is the most arduous climb of the trip. Shortly after passing through Cedar City, the route brings us to Cedar Breaks National Monument. In many ways, this is a single overlook preview to what you'll see in the Bryce Canyon. But remember that we traveled here in October, and 10,000 feet elevation in October meant that we encountered snow, which was a little unexpected and cold on our motorcycle. It was also interesting to find that the bathrooms had closed for the season. Great views. Before we move on to Bryce Canyon, let me take a moment to remind you to subscribe and to like our videos. It costs nothing and helps our channel grow. Thanks. From Cedar Breaks, the road to Bryce is very scenic, with some famous short tunnels carved through the rock along the way. Bryce has several scenic overlooks with trails leading down into the park. It's the opposite of Zion. There, you're on the riverbed floor looking up at the mountains. Here, you're on the top of a vast, complex canyon looking down at magnificent scenery along the riverbed below. My family lived in Utah for several years and visited these parks on many occasions. Some like Zion the best because of the majesty. Some like Arches the best because of the artistic formations. I'm one of those. But the ones who chose Bryce did so because of the scope, and most of all, the color. It's hard to beat. Since we're so close, I added a small state park to today's leg of the journey. Kodachrome State Park is less than 20 miles from Bryce, along the route, and is colorful, but very different. In 1949, before it came to be a state park, National Geographic did a feature on the area and named it Kodachrome Basin, after the film they were using. When it became a state park 13 years later, it was called Chimney Rock State Park after the rock shown here. Later, with permission from the Kodak company, who knew a good promotional opportunity when they saw it, the name was changed back to Kodachrome Basin State Park. From an RV perspective, there's many places to stay near Bryce and Kodachrome. Plan ahead in busy season. Next time, we'll continue on to the east and pick up Capitol Reef, a beautiful but often forgotten national park. As promised, here's the story behind this picture. As I snapped this picture from an overlook, I didn't notice the small white dot at the bottom. When I zoomed in later, I discovered it was a pair of tennis shoes. And in fact, there were several people in the picture, hidden in the vastness of the rock. If you have time, take a short walk down into Bryce. Trails are good, although steep, and it's very important to stay hydrated. But as you can see, it gives you a whole new perspective on the majesty of the world. Until then, safe travels.